Okay. Let's see, make sure we're live. What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Thank you for stopping by. Welcome. And I guess there's some pretty breaking news with regards to this, alleged killer, Rex Heuermann, or Heuermann. Quite a bit of things to go through. They're having a press conference, too, coming up. I figured we could go over some of the basics before we get into some of the and see what they say at the press conference, and then we'll go a little bit deeper because there's a lot of interesting bits. Thank you guys for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. All that good stuff. Let me start off with some of this here. Rex. Actually, let me do with this tweet. Actually, let me show this tweet. Let me show this to you guys. Janie out the screen. What's up? Woke up this morning to learn Gilgo Beach serial killer suspect was my high school classmate, Rex. The Rexter. Burner High School, Massapequa, New York, class of 1981. Married, 2 kids, architect, average guy, quiet family man. Mind-boggling. 23andMe strikes again. And this guy, Rex, he's 59 years old. He's married, apparently. He was charged with the murders of Melissa Barthelemy. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Amber Costello and Megan Waterman. And he has been named as the prime suspect in Maureen Brain Barnes murder. And is also being investigated for the murders of another 6 women found dead near the beach in 2011. And there's some weird stuff about this too. Something about a toddler and apparently a trans person maybe too. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, bro. Kind of the way they caught this guy. There's also some race discussion. Some people upset and pissed. Oh, well, I don't know. This person here says, interesting, not a drag queen, not an immigrant, just an average white American male. So there's race talk, people upset, going back and forth. I we'll get into this whole race thing later, but I guess he's trying to say because, when people find some sort of killer, whatever, mass killer or serial killer or school shooter or whatever, they always talk about whether it's the race or whatever. But the insinuations that I got here too is that it's mostly white males or some shit like that, which there's an interesting article that I kind of went over earlier that I was reading to myself. And I replied back because I know damn right this guy wouldn't be like if it was a black person. It's like, oh, it's a black whatever, So, but yeah, the whole race thing as always kind of starts with these types of things. But I think it's much deeper than that because these people that were killed, they're saying that they did some type of sex work. And I've covered some stories. I remember that California serial killer. I forget his name. The black serial killer. I forget his name. I can't think of it. I know somebody in the chat remember. He targeted like people that were doing sex work. And it just kind of went and got put under the rug for a very long time. But let's start out with this. From people.com. Suspect in Long Island serial killer case ID'd as architect Rex. Source says here, more than a decade after the bodies of various young women began piling up in Gilgo Beach in Long Island, New York, a suspect has been taken into custody. A law enforcement source confirms to People. Rex, an architect with an office in Manhattan, has been identified as a suspect, the source confirms. It's not clear if Heuermann has been charged. People was not able to contact him. I've read that he is, but in other articles. This is him right here. Bonjour, Realty, YouTube. The killings dubbed the Long Island serial killer case, which I have never heard of this before, but apparently a lot of people have. There's been YouTubers that have covered this story. There have been people, I texted Maven, the attorney, about this, and she said, I guess she's been following this for a long time. So it first came to light in December 2010 when the bodies of Melissa Barthelemy, Amber, Megan, and Maureen were found wrapped in burlap and placed within 500 feet of one another, buried in marsh on Gilgo Beach. All 4 women had worked as online escorts and have been missing between 2007 and 2010. And we're going to talk about that too, with what the prosecutors list as evidence, like his burner phones. They were saying something that, like, I guess they found his DNA, but they also found his wife's hair, I think, or something on the bodies. All kinds of stuff. I think he contacted one of the victim's sister. The remains were uncovered accidentally as police searched for 24-year-old escort Shannon Gilbert, which that is a whole nother story in itself, because BL was sending me some links about this as well. And we're going to get into that because there's some 911 calls that are unedited. There's like a 30-minute video, which we're going to have to look at after the press conference. But the disappearance of Shannon Gilbert, and then during the search, they found all the other bodies. So Shannon disappeared, and during the search, they found all the bodies of these other people. And we're going to listen to the 911 calls unedited later. Police released that whole thing on May 2022. And it says to this day, they don't believe she was killed, I guess, by this guy, that she was not a Gilgo Beach serial killer. It's just a coincidence. They were all in the same area. However, the independent autopsy performed by forensic pathologist Michael Baden did not agree that it was an accident. He concluded homicidal strangulation. So I don't know. It's kind of all over the place. We're going to get into all that. So they were uncovered accidentally. They were searching for this lady, Shannon Gilbert, who went missing after visiting a client whom she met on Craigslist in the gated community of Oak Beach, and then fleeing the man's home. Her remains were found in December 2011. So this is Maureen, Melissa, Megan, Amber, pictures of them. I think the people on Twitter are arguing too. I don't know if they were arguing white privilege or something like that, but I'm not sure how it works out when the victims are white too. Does it like cancel each other out? I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand all that mess. But in March 2011, 2 months after police identified the remains of the 4 online escorts, the remains of 6 more bodies were unearthed along the beach. And so this guy did an interview. I don't know. Hopefully we can watch it without a problem. Oh, it's 20 minutes, so I got 20 minutes right now.
Bonjour, I'm Antoine. Today on l'interview, Rox Heuermann, owner of RH Consultant, a Department of Building facilitator. Let's go meet him.
Let's just hear a little bit of that.
Now consulting, is that correct of it, or was just, you just decided to do it?
Actually, it was Harvey's fault.
Of who?
In 1987, when I came to work in the city, the first architect I worked for was Harvey Rosenberg.
Okay.
Great man. That year, a new law came out. Local Law 58 of 87.
Okay.
That's all the handicap access.
Okay.
They said,
Didier,
you're the new guy, you read it. So, I read
you
it.
read it. You read it.
And this video was a year ago, bruh. After the killing, the show, homeboy over here doing interviews and TV on YouTube. Ain't that crazy?
There was a situation dealing with the city.
4 of those remains were women. Here's the interesting thing, okay? 1 was a toddler, and 1 was an Asian male wearing women's clothing. 2 sets of the remains were later linked to the dismembered torso of woman first discovered in Manorville, about 40 miles away. In January 2020, police released photographs of a black leather belt, which is a whole nother thing. Apparently it's this guy's initials on the belt. Or let me see what it is. Let's see. The belt imprinted with the letters W, H, or H, and possibly the suspect's initials. I don't know. We got Rex Heuermann, so I'm not sure about that. At the press conference, Suffolk County Police Commissioner Geraldine Hart said the belt was handled by the suspect and didn't belong to any of the victims. The same month, police announced the creation of a website, Gilgo News, dedicated to sharing information with the public. So that presser is supposed to be starting soon. There's still a whole lot of information to get to. I just don't know that we have time to really talk about it before the presser. This is that 30-minute, even it's actually 35 minutes, unedited 911 calls. I wanted to check this out later too, if you guys want to listen to that. We might have a brief time for a little bit of the timeline. So like I said earlier, the disappearance of this other person, Shannon, in 2010 triggered the hunt and exposed a larger mystery. Gilbert, a 24-year-old sex worker, vanished after leaving a client's house on foot in the seafront community on Oak Beach. Is she dead, Shannon Gilbert? Or I guess so. Because they were searching for her and they found these bodies. Was she killed? Is she alive? So the timeline, December 11, 2010, Suffolk County Police K-9 discovers human remains on Gilgo Beach of a different woman while searching for Shannon Gilbert. The victim was later identified as Melissa. December 13, 2010, the remains of 3 other bodies are found in the same location, all within 500 feet, which is wild. December 15, the FBI offers to help the investigation. Police seize a white van in front of the client's Oak Beach residence. December 16, 2010, Suffolk County Medical Examiner's Office reports that the remains found are female victims, and Shannon Gilbert is not one of the 4 bodies discovered. January 19, 2011, police identify one of the victims as Megan. The identities of the 3 remaining victims are still unknown. January 24, 2011, police released the identities of the 3 remaining victims, Maureen, Melissa, Amber. Suffolk County District Attorney Thomas Spada declares that a serial killer is responsible for these young women's deaths. Spada also reveals that all 4 victims worked as escorts using Craigslist. March 29 through the 31st, 2011, police returned to Gilgo Beach to search for Shannon Gilbert and discover another set of human remains. About a mile east of the original location, police search teams find a skull, forearm, and hands. Wow. Thank you, Aussie Ali. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for that. Thank you for the membership. 2 months membership. Amazing. I'm going to get the other people too after. April 4th through the 5th, 2011, police discovered 3 additional sets of human remains, bringing the total body count to 8. Wow. Police discovered 3 additional sets of human remains, bringing the total body count to 8. Shannon is not one of the 3 bodies discovered. I want to know if Shannon was ever found. If you're listening, BL, let me know, or somebody let me know, or somebody in the chat. Oh, thank you for the link. I got another press conference from 2010. Okay. Okay. So Shannon Gilbert is not one of the 3 bodies discovered. April 11, 2011, police discovered 2 more sets of remains in separate locations along Ocean Parkway, bringing the total number of bodies in Gilgo Beach serial killings to 10. December 13, 2011, Shannon Gilbert's body is discovered. Oh, they found her in Oak Beach Marsh, about a mile away from her belongings. I wonder if she was a victim of this guy or somebody else. July 13, 2023, Rex was arrested in Manhattan, according to police. July 14, 2023, police swarm Rex's home in Massapequa, that's how you say it, Park, Long Island. Heuermann was arraigned on charges of 1st and 2nd degree murder in connection with the deaths of the 3 victims that we mentioned already, Melissa, Megan, Amber. Authorities said he is also the prime suspect in another killing. And talking about the bodies discovered near Gilgo Beach, investigators have said several times over the years it's unlikely one person killed all the victims. Wow. All right, let me just do a little scan too real quick. I always like to have like a backup feed. If you guys can hit like, I appreciate that. We have a whole lot to get to, so buckle up. Get this guy. Here we go. They come this time. All right, just setting up. We just look for alternative. I want to see if we get a better feed. I want a better feed. Press conference. Okay. We got several. Kind of, not really. Okay, here we go. We got one other option here. Okay, I got another option, which I like the other option better. Let me just check the audio though. Oh, they have no audio yet. Okay, I like this one right now. I'm gonna keep this one open as a backup, but I just like we got a better visual here. We'll see how. Ooh, spoke too soon, I guess. Lord, maybe it's the same feed, huh? I think me search another place. Get the best available. I'm not looking at the chat right now, though. I will check it in a second. Just okay, we got another one. Okay, pretty much the same feeds. It's pretty much two options. Okay. Same one. Fox 5, yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave it with that. We'll leave this one for now. If we gotta switch, we gotta switch. Whatever. What's up, man? Welcome. Thank you guys for stopping by again. Appreciate it, man. Today, yesterday we had a really full day. Ick and Mel, did you read the probable cause yet? Short but telling. There's some articles that went over the details. There is a document that's like 30 pages long. I haven't read that. I didn't have time to get into 30 pages. I had to go drop the baby off this afternoon. I had like 1 hour to spare when I got back. Massapequa is Kia. Pronounced Kia. Would be pronounced in squall. I'm sorry. I'm not good at that. Totes Ambler, thank you so much for the 21-month membership. Holy moly. I'm amazed. I've been following this case for ages. I hope this is it. Wow. It's so interesting to me how people have been following this for ages, and I've never heard of this case. I think we're going to stick with this one. I just like as long as they get their audio going. Yeah, I heard a few people say they've been following this for a long time. I never heard about this. Maybe I should ask in the chat. Let's do a little poll. Let's see here, man. Thank you guys, man. I appreciate you stopping by with me. I know you could be anywhere. If you could help me out with the like button too, helps out the algorithm. All right, let's do a poll. Let's do a little poll. We're here. Okay. Long Island serial LISK. They call it, acronym is LISK. Long Island serial killer. Have you heard of it? Yes, no. I need a maybe option, Mel. There's always somebody that's like, they gotta have an in between. It's just yes or no. Jennifer, thank you for the membership. Gracias. Amber, I can't believe you've been a member for so long. Wow. Kimberly's Memories, thank you so much for the membership. Oh, they turned on the audio. I love this one better. We got a better feed here. I'll take it. No, I appreciate it, Mari. I'm struggling with that word. This is an old school case, Patty. I don't mind when you guys correct me on the pronunciation. Okay, Jackie says it's pronounced Massapequa. Oh, okay, that's a better breakdown for me, I think. Massapequa. Oh, I love that. Okay, I think that's how it is. That was a little easier for me. There is a doc about it. Yeah, there's a page on Twitter, Flossie sent it to me, that has this whole like 30-page document. Catch list. They posted this. Yeah. Oh, here we go. This is big time. This is serious. I'm hearing echoing. Here we go. I got it. Not today, saying.
All set. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for coming. I'm standing here with my law enforcement partners in the Gilgo task force to announce the indictment of defendant Rex Andrew Heuermann, 59 years of age. And he's been arrested by the Suffolk County Police Department's homicide detectives, and he's been indicted in a grand jury presentation by the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office for the murders of Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. The investigation of Maureen Brainerd Barnes is ongoing. These young women went missing between July of 2007 and September of 2010. They were found in December of 2010 by the Suffolk County Police Department, and then there was nothing, absolutely nothing. For the next 13 years, their cases went unsolved until today. When I took office in January of 2022, I made Gilgo a priority. I made Gilgo a priority before I took office. I met with the victims' families, some of whom I'm proud to have standing with us today, and I told them that we were going to handle this case differently. We were going to do it differently, and that when I showed up, you weren't going to see me calling the media and being on Gilgo Beach with a giant magnifying lens looking for clues 12 years after the case. What I was going to do was I was going to work with my task force. We were going to form a task force. We were going to work with the Suffolk County Police Department. We were going to work with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. We were going to work with the New York State Police. We were going to work with our FBI, and we were going to form this task force, and we were going to work together, and we were going to use the grand jury, the power of the grand jury to reach a determination in this case. Because the grand jury has two things. It has power, it has reach. You could obtain documents, you could interview witnesses. But the other thing that the grand jury has, no one knows what you do when you operate a grand jury proceeding.
Thank you, Wells.
And we knew that when we were investigating this case and when we dealt with the media or whatever it was we were doing, we were playing before a party of one, because we knew the person responsible for these murders would be looking at us. So we were very careful how we handled the investigation. We maintained the integrity of the investigation. Most importantly of all, we maintained the secrecy of that investigation, and I think that's paid dividends as we've seen today. Now, I think that when we had the task force, the first thing we did, got together with Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison, and we formed the task force. Our first meeting was February 1st of 2022. And what we did, all of the agencies here, we made the commitment. We were going to take our most talented investigators. So in the district attorney's office, we took ADAs, myself included. We took analysts, we took detective investigators, and they worked on a daily basis with other talented investigators from all of the agencies here. We started that in February 1st in 2022. 6 weeks later, on March 14th, 2022, the name Rex Heuermann was first mentioned as a suspect in the Gilgo case. A New York State investigator was able to identify him in a database, and from that point on, we used the power of the grand jury, over 300 subpoenas and search warrants looking into this individual's background to bring us to this day. So I'm proud. I know that this case is over, but I'm proud of what we've accomplished up to this point. I know we have more to accomplish, but I'm also thankful for the partnership of the task force, because certainly without the participation of the task force, we wouldn't be standing here. Before I thank some folks and turn it over to our partners, I just want to talk a little bit about the evidence in the case. I know a lot of people know about the case. As I indicated, the victims went missing between July of 2010 and July of 2007 and September of 2010. And in December of 2010, they were their bodies were recovered. They were buried in a similar fashion, at a similar location. in a similar way. All the women were petite. They were they all did the same thing for a living. They all advertised the same way, and there were immediately there were similarities with regard to the crime scenes. All the women were bound at the head, at the midsection, or at the chest, and later at the legs. The other thing I think that that's been talked about in the media was they were bound by burlap. That has taken a life of its own in the media, and the burlap has been described or thought to be the burlap that's used at a nursery for. That's not the burlap that was used in this case. The burlap was camouflage burlap used for duck blinds, so hunting. Obviously it was used to purposely hide the bodies. One thing that became immediately apparent was at the time of each of the murders, the murderer, the defendant Heuermann, he got a cell phone and a burner phone, which is prepaid and anonymous. And for each of the murders, he got an individual burner phone, and he used that to communicate with the victims. Then shortly after the death of the victims, he then would get rid of the burner phone. And right away in December of 2012, FBI CAST analysts, special agents with the CAST unit of the FBI, they immediately began looking at that cell site data. They compared the victims' phones with the burner phones, and they immediately honed in on some similarities, specifically in the Massapequa Park area. And they looked at an area of a confluence of 4 cell towers, and they realized that this had significance because the perpetrator of these crimes was probably located within this area at or around the times of the murder. And that was mapped out. That was called the box, and it was an area in Massapequa Park. The FBI also managed to do that for an area in Midtown Manhattan. And so that was an investigative lead. The other investigative lead at the time was, even though there was a significant amount of time that elapsed with regard to before the victims were recovered, there was some significant evidence recovered. Specifically, there was a hair recovered from Maureen Brainerd Barnes from a belt buckle that was around her legs. With regard to Megan Waterman, there were 3 hairs recovered from her, one from around her head area, one from around her leg area in the burlap, and then there was one caught in between the tape. And that was recovered. Amber Costello also had a significant hair that was recovered during the time of the recovery. But again, the crime scene, because it was out there for so long and because it was exposed to the elements, those hairs were degraded, so you couldn't use traditional DNA analysis on it. You would have to wait and use mitochondrial DNA. And back in 2010, the technology wasn't there for mitochondrial DNA. So the investigation proceeded, but also technology proceeded.
But they said it was race.
Then in January and February of 2022, we formed the task force. We began working collectively. And then a mere 6 weeks later, on March 14th, 2022, Rex Heuermann was identified for the first time. And the manner in which that was done was the New York State investigator looked at a database. Amber Costello, the day before her disappearance on September 1st, 2010, she met with an individual for the purposes of having him pay her money for her services. But she involved herself in a ruse where once the individual gave her money, and other individuals came into the house, pretended to be significant others, confronted the individual, with the purpose of making that individual uncomfortable, having him leave without retrieving his money. And that's exactly what happened. So that individual was identified as a person who was between 6'4" and 6'6", a large man, thickly built, not necessarily overly muscular, but just a naturally big person with glasses, white, and dark hair. Also of significance was that the fact that he was driving a dark-colored black first generation Chevrolet Avalanche with a very unique feature that was between it's a pickup truck, so it was between the cab and the bed, and that was identified. Again, that was back in 2010. But it wasn't until March of 2022 that database was searched by the task force, and this individual was identified. That individual was Rex Heuermann, the defendant, and right away there were some commonalities that came right to the fore. Rex Heuermann, 6'4", largely a large person, not necessarily muscular, but a very physically large person. He has glasses. He has the dark hair, and also of particular note, he owned at the time that first generation Chevy Avalanche. But there was more. He lived at 105 First Avenue, which was located within that box area that the FBI first discovered in 2012. But there was more. Also, he worked at the time at an architect, he owned his own architectural firm at an address at 19 West 36th Street in Midtown Manhattan. And that was also the area of interest that was identified by the FBI in 2012. Again, that was March 14th, 2022. And from that point on, our partners and my office, we used the grand jury to continue to investigate, and we executed over 300 subpoenas, search warrants pertaining to this individual to find out more information. One of the things that we did is we followed him because we wanted to get an abandonment sample of his DNA, which we were able to do.
I think.
We also got DNA samples, abandonment samples from his family. And then we went back and we got mitochondrial DNA testing. And with regard to, there's an aspect of New York State law that doesn't allow me to talk about DNA testing, specifically at press conferences. It's so I can't do that. However, at the arraignment and also when we filed our bail letter, we talked about the significance of that evidence. So if anyone needs to see that, but suffice to say, that evidence was significant, especially with regard to the other evidence that we had developed. But it was there was another interesting aspect. We looked at the Heuermann family travel records, and we learned that during the murders of the last three women, Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello, that during the commission of those murders, the defendant's wife and children were out of New York State, and he was alone in the tri-state area. We also went back and looked at his cell site records, and we compared his personal cell site records with that of the four target phones, and we saw that there was areas of commonality. In other words, that whenever the target phones would bounce off a cell tower, if the Heuermann personal phone bounced off a tower, it was always consistent and in close proximity with the target phones. And at no time was there ever an instant where those target phones were, for instance, in New Jersey while the defendant was on Long Island. So that was completely consistent. The other thing that we looked at was we looked at his use of burner phones. And we followed, using the grand jury, using the great investigative help from our partners, we followed his use of burner phones. We were able to identify 7 separate burner phones that he used. We were able to use fictitious or fraudulent email addresses and get Google warrants. And from there, we got his searches. And we learned what the defendant was searching. In a 14-month period, he had over 200 searches pertaining to the Gilgo investigation. Not only was he looking at investigative insight, he was trying to figure out how is the task force using cell phones to try to figure out what's happening. What are the developments with regard to the task force? And this really supported our decision to keep our investigative focus secret, because we knew that this one person would be watching, and we didn't want to give him any insight into what we were doing. And we also didn't want him to know just how close we were getting. So we maintained the grand jury secrecy, and we maintained the integrity of our investigation. In addition to those Gilgo searches, he was compulsively searching pictures of the victims, but not only pictures of the victims, pictures of their relatives,
wow,
their sisters, their children, and he was trying to locate those individuals.
What?
In addition to that, there was a lot of torture, porn.
We're gonna go over that,
and what you would consider, depictions of women being abused, being raped, and being killed. In addition to all of that, we continued to look, and we were able to determine that Chevy Avalanche that was used during the commission of the Amber Costello crime, that Chevy Avalanche was in South Carolina. And again, with the help of our partners, we were able to seize that Chevy Avalanche pursuant to a search warrant, and we're certainly going to analyze that. In addition to that, pursuant to the arrest of the defendant last night by the Suffolk County Police Department, we obtained one of his burner phones, his last burner phones. As I said, this case is not over, it's only beginning. We're continuing to execute search warrants, and we anticipate getting more evidence. Before I turn it over to my partners, I want to thank a lot of people in the room. First and foremost, I want to thank the victims in this case. You know, it's always inspiring as a prosecutor when you get to meet the victims. And while sometimes our defendants could embody the very worst of humanity, it seems that invariably our victims embody the very best of what it means to be human. And in this case, it was no different. I've gotten to know the families, and I'm inspired by them, and I'm impressed by their patience and by their dogged persistence in not only supporting their lost sisters or mother or daughter, but also really really standing for victims everywhere. So I want to thank them all so much. And I want to let them know that we're going to continue to work this case. The next thing I want to do, I want to thank our partners. I want to thank Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison. We said it was a change, and when we talked about not going before the media, if you see, Rodney did go before the media, but it was always in a very controlled manner, and it was always with a controlled purpose. Again, we did that because we knew we were playing before an audience of one person. And so I want to thank Rodney for his partnership. Most importantly, I want to thank Rodney for his integrity. I think in the past, the reason why these various investigations fell short was because there was a lot of outside influence, a lot of people who had nothing to do with the investigation, nothing to do with the the investigation or any of the agencies that were actually handling the investigation, they still asserted pressure on those investigations. That did not happen with our task force. Our task force was run by our members, and we did what we thought was in the best investigative steps and what was in the best interest of the investigation. So I want to thank Rodney for that, and his whole team. I know that we have Suffolk County Homicide here, Kevin Byer. We've got Inspector Rowan, and I know that they've been around, and I know that they're here, and I know that they stand in the shoes of their past investigators, and I want to congratulate them, and I want to thank them for their partnership. I also want to thank Sheriff Errol Toulon. Everything I said about Rodney, I could say about Errol. Errol is an unbelievable partner. He was an unbelievable partner in this case. During the pendency of this case, and one of the reasons why we had to take this case down was we learned that the defendant was using these alternate identities and these alternate instruments to continue to patronize sex workers.
Yep.
Which of course made us very nervous. But with the help of the sheriff and his database and his analysts, we were able to continually stay one step ahead of the defendant. So thank you, Sheriff Toulon. I want to thank the FBI. I know Assistant Director in Charge Michael Brodak is here. I want to thank his entire team. You know, when you have the FBI, not only do you have tremendous resources and insight, whether it's the Behavioral Sciences Unit, whether it's CAST, whether it's CART, which is their computer unit, but you also have the ability to seize a car in South Carolina. I can't seize a car in South Carolina without the FBI. So thank you for that, and thank you for your partnership, and thank you for your willingness to work with us. I want to thank the New York State troopers. I know Major Udis is here and his team. This case is emblematic of great cooperation, but we always get that same level of cooperation from the state police, no matter what case we're working. So I want to thank them. Their investigators did great work on this job and in this case, and we couldn't have done it without them. Lastly, I want to thank Nassau County Police Commissioner Pat Ryder. I don't know if he's here. Did he make it? This case, as I said, spans 13 years, and during that time, Pat Ryder has been our neighbor to the west. When it started, I think he was a sergeant, detective sergeant, maybe uniform sergeant, but whatever. Whenever we needed something to be done, or whenever the task force needed something to be done, Pat Ryder would do it, and he would do it quietly, without much fanfare, and we know he would keep the confidentiality of our grand jury and our investigation. So I want to thank him for that. And with that, I will turn it over to Commissioner Rodney Harrison.
Very interesting so far. I have some interesting information too about this story. That's kind of crazy, about one of the first people that were missing. We'll get into that in a second. Pretty crazy. Addie, what's up? Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you guys check out 10 to Life, her channel. She's amazing. She has a podcast as well. Friend of the channel. Very
good afternoon.
Amazing content.
Today is a good day. And before I acknowledge the individuals that had a role in getting to this place, I would first and foremost like to offer my deepest condolences to the family members. To the family members of Amber Costello, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman. I can only imagine what you had to endure over the last decade regarding knowing that your killer was still loose. God bless you.
He didn't mention Maureen, I believe, because Maureen, this guy has been charged with Maureen. He's the prime suspect in her murder. So that's why he didn't mention her, I guess.
So I've had the privilege of being the police commissioner. It's nearly about 2 years now. And I have had that investigative experience in the NYPD as a detective, as the chief of detectives. And when I was going through the process of being the police commissioner, my engagement with the county executive was I was very familiar with this unfortunate homicides. And I wanted to let it be known that this was going to be our #1 priority. But I also want to make this very clear, that this arrest was made by the investigators assigned to the task force. I announced during a press conference 18 months ago about a new team effort that was going to investigate the homicide, and that was going to consist of people from Ray Tierney's office, from Mike Broddock, FBI. Mike, thank you so much. State Police, Steve, appreciate your support. Dr. Earl Talon, Jr., thank you, sir. As well as the investigators from the homicide detectives in Suffolk County. Gentlemen, thank you for all you've done, working together with us, making sure we are here today. I also want to thank my partner, Pat Ryder. Pat, good seeing you, man. And former NYPD Police Commissioner, Keyshawn Sewell, for providing resources to assist in the investigation that brought us here today. So, one of my first acts was to survey the scene. When I first got assigned as a police commissioner, me and Kevin Breyer went over to Gilgo Beach. I want to thank Kevin. You know, when I first met Kevin, he broke the whole case down and where we stood. He knew the case like the back of his hand. He worked tirelessly in this case. Kev was in charge of overseeing the task force since its creation, and you did a phenomenal job, Kev. Thank you. So there's something that I learned from a former NYPD police commissioner, James O'Neill, which is in order to fight crime or to solve investigations, you have to make sure you're working with your law enforcement partners. The blueprint in making this arrest was a whole team effort. Everybody left their egos at the door and made sure that they brought the knowledge and the resources to this investigation. Fresh eyes on this case and the resiliency of our investigators allowed us to identify Rex Heuermann. Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Heuermann is a demon that walks among us, a predator that ruined families. And if not for the members of this task force, he would still be out in the streets today. However, even with this arrest, we're not done. There's more work to do in this investigation regarding the other victims of the Gilgo Beach bodies that were discovered. I'm going to encourage anybody that still has information, call our Crime Stoppers hotline, 1-800-220-TIPS. I want to recognize and thank my Chief of Detectives, John. Thank you for your great work. Deputy Police Commissioner Anthony Carter, both of you who provided update information regarding the case and let it be known if there was any resources that they needed that you brought it to my attention. Since the discovery of the first victim, there's been a lot of scrutiny and criticism regarding how this investigation was handled.
Twitter's pissed off.
I will tell you this.
Oh, crazy.
The investigators were never discouraged. They continued and uncovered evidence and followed leads. They never stopped working and will continue to work tirelessly until we bring justice to all the families involved. Last but not least, I want to thank my predecessors that came before me, the work that they did. I want to thank them for really laying the foundation that helped us get to here today. Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I saw some people on Twitter, going in, I don't know. I guess the DNA kind of explains it, the whole technology changing, I guess.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Brodak.
The task force
I'm the FBI Special Agent in charge of the New York office's Criminal Division. The FBI expended its full set of resources in support of our local and state partners to advance this investigation. The charges show that we can overcome the most difficult challenges when federal, state, and local law enforcement work together under one task force. While nothing can fill the void caused by the loss of a loved one, through today's announcement, we are hopeful that the families of the victims begin to experience a sense of peace, closure, and justice, and that the general public feels safer knowing that an alleged killer is no longer roaming free. The actions taken today should serve as a reminder that the FBI, along with our law enforcement partners, will continue to be resolute in our determination to bring all offenders to justice, no matter how many years has passed. I would like to thank Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney and his prosecution team, Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison and the Suffolk County Police Department, the New York State Police, and the investigators and staff of the FBI New York Field Office, including the Long Island Violent Crime Task Force. Thank you.
Missy. Oh, man. Lord almighty. That'd be crazy.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Errol D. Toulon Jr., and I'm the Sheriff of Suffolk County. I would profoundly like to thank the District Attorney and the Police Commissioner for including me not only here today, but for including the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office and recognizing the importance of jail intelligence. It is extremely important when you realize that we created our human trafficking unit in 2018, that there are victims in our community, and that intelligence is being shared by many of the men and women who are incarcerated today. And we have seen many disjointed investigations occur, and leading up to the leadership of these two men have really brought everything together. I am proud that today we stand here a little bit closer to bringing closure to the families and extend my deepest condolences to all of you. Because of the nature of this case, and recognizing that human trafficking and corrections intelligence is so important, we realize that there are many other cases that are going on that we will help to solve going forward. So I thank my intelligence staff and team that are here today for their diligence and their work. While we did our part in this investigation, we continue because we have to house this individual. We have already designated or talked about certain locations where we will house him, and in addition, the security measures we will implement in our facility to make sure that this individual is brought to justice the way he should be. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit that we got to get into after this presser. I'm just hearing about this for the first time.
Good afternoon. I'm Colonel Richard Allen, the field commander with the state police, and I want to start by expressing my sincere condolences to the family members that are here today. Although losing a loved one, you can never completely get rid of that pain, but hopefully these steps that are taken here today are a step in the right direction for you to start in the healing process or work through the healing process. I want to thank the members of the task force, all the agencies you see behind me. When we were approached in 2022 to be part of this task force, we were fully engaged. Glad to be part of this. We assigned investigators on a full-time basis. You know, what you see being done here today is the end game of agencies working together, as was said before, with no egos, all egos put aside, with the sole mission to find justice for these victims. You know, here in Troop L, Major Stephen Udis oversees the operations down here. He has been intricately involved in this task force since we became partners with it. And I'm going to ask him to come up and say a few words or expand upon this a little bit, our role in it.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy that this guy was stalking the families and victims and even looking at their kids and shit, tracking them down. That's crazy. I mean, everything's crazy about this, I guess.
Good afternoon. I'm Major Steve Udis, New York State Police, Troop L, Long Island Troop Commander. I'd like to take this opportunity to start off by acknowledging the DA, Ray Tierney, and Commissioner Rodney Harrison for having the vision to see that forming a task force might breathe new light into this investigation. The state police were asked in early 2022 to join this task force, and once requested, we were more than willing to do so. We were also very pleased that we were able to make some very meaningful contributions in this case to help propel it forward. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of the task force members from the different agencies and congratulate them on a job well done. I think this case represents an example of what we as law enforcement can do when we pool our resources together and we work together. I would also like to mention the state police member assigned to this task force. You were provided with a mission, and that mission was to participate in this task force, put everything else that you were doing aside, place 100% of your attention on this case, and help push this case forward. You more than accomplished that mission. I congratulate you on a job well done, and I commend you for your outstanding work. To the families, I'd like to say that on behalf of myself and the New York State Police, we offer you our deepest condolences. We recognize that these crimes may have happened years ago, but that pain continues. Our hope is that this development today provides you with some relief and some comfort, knowing that the person responsible for your loved one's death is now being held accountable, and he's no longer a threat to anyone else in society. I want you to know, additionally, that the state police is not done here. We are remaining committed and will continue to support the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, the Suffolk County Police Department, and this task force as we move into the next phase of this process. That's the prosecution. I would also like to say something to everyone watching this with us today. There's been a lot of discussion here today about charges, about the suspect, about what happened, but I would also like everybody to take the time to join with me and keep the families of the victims and the victims themselves in your thoughts and in your prayers. Each one of these victims was a family member and a loved one, and their void and their loss caused great pain, and they did not deserve this. Nobody is deserving of this. We hope this development today will bring some comfort to them as they move forward. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
DA, in court you said that the investigation had to be cut short at one point because of, I think you were fearing the defendant being flee, but more importantly, the safety of people in the community. Can you just explain that more here?
You know, sure. Before I do that, just I'm standing back there. I realized I didn't thank my own team. So I want to thank my chief investigator Rick Zacharies, who is I'm so lucky to have. I want to thank Nick Santamartino, ADA Nick Santamartino, ADA Michelle Haddad, ADA Andrew Lee. I also want to thank my chief assistant, Alan Bodie, and I want to thank all of the incredible analysts that we have working for us at the Suffolk County DA's office. So, having said that, I'll now answer your question. I think that there was a tension in the task force, and it was a good tension because there's a tension between getting the evidence necessary to charge somebody, but also keeping the public safe, and that's the tension that we always deal with. So as we were working forward, we had Suffolk County PD, we had the FBI surveilling the defendant. Obviously, that can't be all the time, but we were reasonably assured with that. But this individual was a person that continued to patronize sex workers at all hours of the night.
Wow.
He
what if he
continued
killed somebody else?
to use fictitious email addresses, fictitious identities, burner phones. And so as we worked through the case, and we got closer and closer, all of a sudden, and we built the evidence, suddenly the balance tips in favor of public safety. So I think we all wanted as a task force to continue it, but I think collectively we felt that it was time to strike that balance and to take him off the street. So that's what we did.
I see that you have some of the family members gathered here today. Could you introduce some of them, and if they wanted to say anything about the news?
I don't believe they. Does anybody want to say anything? No, they're here. They're. I can tell you they're the Waterman, Bartholomew, and Brainerd Barnes family members. But they're here. They're here first and foremost to support their loved ones, and we're happy and grateful to have them here.
Are you looking at any other people? Do you believe that there are multiple people responsible for the remains, for the murders?
This portion had to deal with the deaths of these 4 young women, and that's what we focused on. That was what the grand jury investigation was focused on. I talked about the commonalities, and the commonalities, all those commonalities that we talked to were unique to these 4 separate cases. So that's what we're working on. I think the other members of the task force said, we're going to continue, and continue to work and investigate and try to get a small measure of closure for all the victims' families. But for right now, this defendant, it's this defendant with these 4 victims.
So the other remains, is there any relationship between the person, the Heuermann, and the other remains, other than the 4 women?
I'm here to talk about what we did with regard to these 4 victims, and as I opened my address by talking about the need to maintain investigative secrecy. So we are going to maintain that investigative secrecy, and when I talk about other individuals and other cases, it will be after they have handcuffs on.
You mentioned that there was a New York State officer made the link with Heuermann. He looked at data, and that's when Heuermann came up shortly after the task force. Can you explain that? Can you talk a little more about that?
So, I mean, we talked about some of the evidence that was there. Obviously the cast, that phone evidence was great evidence. And then there were other commonalities. There were other investigations. But I think one of the good things about having a task force is basically you strip it all down. And you start from scratch, and then you use the DA's office, because the DA's office has to get you the lifeblood of an investigation is information. And the way you get information on a cold case is the district attorney's office issues subpoenas in conjunction with the investigators and execute search warrants, again in conjunction with the investigators, and then you mine all that data, and then you let that data take you where you need to go. So that's what we did in this case. And 6 weeks in, the break in the case, a significant break in the case, was the avalanche and the fact that this guy, he was described by witnesses as an ogre. He matched the description of the ogre and where he lived.
Was the avalanche the link there? Was that what jumped out?
Well, I mean, it was a lot of things, right? It was his physical size. It was his where he lived, where he worked. The fact that his family members were out of the country at the time of the commission of the 3 murders. The fact that he now then you start looking into him, and then you start getting burner phones. Well, he has we had up to 7 burner phones. He's using these fictitious email addresses. So then you follow him and you get an abandonment sample. Then you go back to some of the old evidence. So it's there are I mean, March 14th. 2022 was a huge day for the task force, but it's never one piece of evidence.
Database. Did his name come up? You said that his name.
Well, there's like what they'll call lawman searches, and basically what it is you run a certain make and model of a car and certain other where you live or what you do for a living, and then you get data, and then you mine that data for something that would match with your case. And you do that. You don't do that just you do that 100 times until it hits, until you get the right data points.
Did the suspect say anything when he was arrested? Was he surprised? Did he admit to the murders?
So we can't talk about ethically in New York. We can't talk about any statements the defendant made, but he made. We're not turning over any statements.
Was he surprised?
I would say he was, yes.
Oh.
You mentioned a unique feature that helped you.
I want to see that body cam.
Yeah. So in between the bed and the cab, there's like a little triangular ornament almost, and it's unique in the way it's configured. It's unique to the avalanche. It was unique to the avalanche at that time, and that was something that was pointed out by witnesses.
Might there be other victims?
What?
Associated with this?
Well, the investigation is continuing, and I would never say never. And we're going to continue to look at, again, now this is a watershed event in this case. And so we've now are going out and we're executing more search warrants. We'll get more information, more data, and together we'll look at that and see where it leads.
Can you share how the other victims' families are feeling today?
I'm sorry?
Did you speak to the other victims' families? Did they tell you how they're feeling today?
Which so this investigation had to do with these 4 victims. So we've been in touch with the 4 victims through the grand jury process. With regard to victims in general and other victims, who lost people in the vicinity of that area, we speak to our victims all the time, but those are conversations that we keep between ourselves.
The grand jury why there's one victim that has not been linked to the charges to this suspect at this point.
So so first off, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, she the other 3, one went missing in 2009. I believe the others in 2010. She was in 2007. So it was a little bit more remote in time. We are working through evidence. A lot of that evidence has to do with forensic evidence and analyses that are not completed. But once those analyses are completed, we feel good about the case, and we're going to just continue to let that process go. And again, I think the initial plan was to allow the grand jury investigation to go a little further, but at a certain time, again, the task force felt, we need to, for reasons having nothing to do with the evidence in the case, we need to take it down.
And Jay, can you just sum up this defendant? You've seen a lot. Can you just sum up this defendant and what he is accused of?
He's
crazy, rapist,
it's
murderer. I don't know if he.
As a prosecutor and as investigators, he is charged with a crime. There are certain elements in which we need to prove that crime. We are going to prove those elements. We're going to work hard. We're going to convict him, and we're going to hold him responsible for what he did. And whether, what I think of him personally, whether I like him, whether I don't like him, doesn't matter. We are going to hold him responsible for what he did in this case.
When was the grand jury impaneled, and is it concluded?
The grand jury is it's secret, and we're going to keep it secret. But we have an investigation, and it is continuing.
There was a belt that was presented publicly by the Suffolk County Police Department a few years ago with initials on it. I think one of the initials appeared to be MH or WH or something along those lines. Obviously, this guy's got an H in his name.
Sure does.
Can you talk about that?
I mean, he has an H in his name. He is, so it's, what was it, HM?
Or WH?
Or WH.
We talked about
that.
that.
So he's got an H in his name, and other relatives in his family have a W in their name.
Oh.
What that means, I don't know.
And can you talk about an alleged motive? Why? Alleged motive? Why?
I think that when you look at his internet searches, I think that provides a little insight into his state of mind. And again, we don't have to prove motive. We have to prove the elements, and that's what we're going to do.
You said that he was continuing to patronize sex workers until recently. How did you guys feel comfortable ensuring that you weren't, putting these women at risk?
Well, you said women.
We're going to get into the searches.
With regard to the sex
really
workers,
graphic.
what we did
was
we had him under surveillance. We had other means of monitoring him. And again, it's a
wow. This is crazy, dude. The searches
and that process is you have to balance the ability to find enough evidence to charge him and hold him responsible with the balance of keeping the public safe. And it's not easy. And we decided at a certain point in time that that we needed to take him down because we didn't feel comfortable with it. So that's what we did.
Did the frequency of his searches or the type of his searches increase to cause you alarm?
I don't think it was so much. I don't think it was so much the searches. I think that the conduct of the defendant was very consistent. I think, but the quality of our evidence was increasing by the day, by the moment, due to the great work of our task force partners. So at a certain point in time, we're like, okay, we can do this.
Was there a murder weapon, or was this all by physical force?
I believe the cause of death is homicidal violence. Obviously, given the length of time and the exposure to a very harsh environment, forensically there was not not a lot that could be done with the remains, other than come to that conclusion.
He owned 92 guns. It was said at the arraignment that he had.
He has permits for 92 guns.
92
he has a very
guns?
large safe in which guns are kept. We are continuing to execute search warrants, so I'm sure we'll have that answer shortly.
There's quite a large gap between when he last offended and his arrest. Is there any concern that he committed any other crimes in that time period before the task force was set up?
I'm sorry?
Is there any concern that obviously he last was known to commit a crime in 2010 and it's now 2013? The task force was set up in 2022. That's quite a large gap. Is there any concern he could?
I think there's always concerns. I think I got into office in January 22. We worked with our partners. We had our first meeting February 1st, and we worked and March 14th was really that watershed day. And when I tell you, I'd like to brag and say that my office was really working hard, which we were, but no other agency was working any less hard than we were. Once we realized what we had and we realized the stakes, all of our partners really worked. I think if you look at the folks standing here, I don't think that, in the last 48 hours, any of us have gotten more than 3 hours sleep.
Regarding Maureen Bernard-Barnes, how much more do you need to actually tie into that?
We are going to continue our investigation, and when we are prepared, when we have concluded that investigation, we will, we'll bring that to a conclusion, but we will not do it before.
Between all the search, you have one more? Okay, between all the search warrants and the subpoenas, were you ever did you ever think that you were going to lose them? Being between all the searching around and stuff?
And I don't want to tell you, exact investigative techniques, because they're, again, part of the reasons why they're effective is because people don't necessarily know what it is exactly we do. But always a concern, but given the professionalism of our partners, their diligence and their commitment, we felt good about the case, or keeping the case going until we didn't, and then we took it down. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
So, okay, bruh. Okay, there's other searches that I will show. I'm not going to show this because it's very okay, so the legal process served. I'm going to read some of them, or I'll paraphrase a little bit. Legal process served on Google seeking records. And accounts associated with the device. Burner cell phones reveal connections to yet another burner or junk email account. Thoc 080672@gmail. Anyway, so this was used to conduct thousands of searches related to sex workers, sadistic torture related to porn and child porn. Okay. I'm just going to read some of them. Mistress, Long Island. Mature escort, Manhattan. Girl begging for there's several searches with 10-year-old schoolgirl, 10-year-old, 10-year-old, 13-year-old, 12-year-old, bunch of like kid underage minor searches. There's one here that says Asian tied up, which the only reason I'm saying that is because there was one Asian male that was wearing female clothes that was among the bodies that were found. So I see that on the search there, and I'm kind of like, and just a bunch of underage stuff that this guy was searching. The other thing, so let me show you this. I think this is way worse than Letitia's searches. But I don't know. Letitia didn't show what kind of porn stuff she was searching. But and those searches, those searches were just between. Let's see what the dates for that were. Review the records, additional cell phones were used extensively between 2021 and 2023. These other searches here. Showed that by accident. Let me put this out of the way. Okay, why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer? He's searching himself. Why hasn't the Long Island killer been caught? Long Island killer, Long Island serial killer phone call, Long Island serial killer update, Long Island serial killer update 2022, FBI active serial killers by state of 2023, map of all known serial killers, unsolved serial killers, America's 5 most notorious old cases, 11 current active serial killers, 8 terrifying active serial killers, John, Megan. So he's searching these victims here. Redacted name of relative. He's searching the relatives. Cops launch Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force, which is what the guy mentioned in the beginning. Inside the Long Island serial killer and Gilgo Beach. Criminal minds and all this kind of stuff here. It's pretty interesting. Oh, homeboy over here. Hello. We're taking selfies to send to the woman, I guess. Great. Oh boy, look at this. Further link to a burner cell phone because on May 19, 2023, defendant Heuermann was observed by law enforcement via video and field surveillance at cell phone store in Midtown Manhattan and purchased additional minutes, which were added to his burner phone. Wow, that is creep. Okay, a couple things I want to get into. We got a couple. Few things. There was a part in this presser. I'm gonna look for it later, or if somebody has a timestamp, I'm gonna send this to the mods. Maybe if they have time to find it, so I don't stall you guys. There was a part in that presser where I swear I thought I heard, but I could have heard it wrong. They had mentioned that I thought one of the girls was involved in like a scheme where she goes and then a couple other guys show up and they make the person, I don't know if they have to pay without service. I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting. The other thing. So in the very beginning, when we mentioned, so the reason all these bodies were found, right, was because they were searching for a different missing person. They were searching for, let me get this lady's name here. Okay, they were accidentally uncovered by police when they were searching for Shannon Gilbert, okay, who went missing after visiting a client she met on Craigslist in the gated community. So they went searching for this lady, Shannon Gilbert, but they found all these other bodies. I'm talking, I think 10 bodies in total. He was charged with the murders of Melissa, Amber, and Megan. Maureen, which is the fourth person we see that they were talking about, he's been named as a prime suspect in that murder, but he's also being investigated for the murders of 6 other women found dead near the beach in 2011. Now, the first person here, Shannon Gilbert, there's some weird stuff about this because you're not going to believe this shit, okay? You're not going to believe this shit. I just heard about, Cheek sent me this in BL. Shannon Gilbert's sister accused of stabbing their mother 200 times. Found guilty in jury trial. What? Oh, this is so crazy. Mary Gilbert was the mother of Shannon Gilbert, the escort who vanished in Long Island in 2010. Okay. A jury returned a guilty verdict. Sarah Gilbert, who allegedly stabbed her mother to death in 2016, 6 years after the disappearance of her sister Shannon, led to the discovery of 10 sets of human remains. Wow. John Ray, an attorney who represented the family on previous matters, said at the time of Gilbert's arrest in July, the young woman was mentally ill and hearing voices. Ray, who had not been formally retained in the murder case at the time of his comments, said that Gilbert had gone to her mother's home because she was hallucinating, and Mary Gilbert died while trying to help her mentally ill daughter. Shannon Gilbert, Mary's daughter and Sarah's older sister, vanished in May 2010 after fleeing a client in Oak Beach, sparking an investigation that would lead to 10 bodies. Wow. Now, and the other thing with this. So they found these 10 bodies, 10 sets of human remains. Police believe the 10 were victims of a serial killer, but Shannon Gilbert accidentally drowned in the marsh after running away from the Oak Beach home. The medical examiner's autopsy proved inconclusive, and prior to her death, Mary Gilbert had been fighting to get Shannon Gilbert's case reopened as a homicide. Her family has also been involved in civil litigation. Now, there's been this whole contention whether this guy was the killer or not. So Beal sent me, let me see if I can get it to show you guys. Apparently this doctor did a report. They try to say it's not related, but this independent autopsy performed by forensic pathologist Michael Baden, which I feel like I've heard that name before outside of this story. He did not agree that it was an accident and concluded it was homicidal strangulation. So, and we got a lot to, let's see. February 12, 2016. I enclose a true copy of Dr. Michael Baden's report as to his autopsy findings regarding Shannon Gilbert. Okay. And I reviewed the medical examiner's autopsy and toxicology reports, the New York Medical Examiner's Office Forensic Anthropology report, and photographs that you sent to me relative to the death of Shannon Marie Gilbert. I've also examined the skeletal remains and obtained medical history from Miss Gilbert's mother. Shannon, 23 years old, was last seen alive in the early morning hours of May 1st, 2010, running from the house of Joseph Brewer in Oak Beach, Long Island. So we're taking it way back. Okay, we're going way back in time to like the first person that caused police to find all these other bodies, 10 bodies. So we're starting at the beginning with this person. So she was last seen alive in the early morning hours of May 1st, 2010, running from the house of Joseph Brewer in Oak Beach, Long Island. Her largely skeletonized remains and some of her dispersed belongings were discovered in a nearby marshy area on December 13, 2011, almost 20 months after she had disappeared. Wow. She was still wearing deteriorating fragments of clothing, a white and tan shirt, black brazier, thong panties, and blue denim jeans. Almost all of the skeletal bones were recovered and appeared normal. There was no evidence of trauma. However, I forget how to say this, the larynx was missing, which isn't that like a part of the neck or something, I think? And only the body of the hyoid bone was found, which there's a whole thing too with the whole hyoid bone, right? We've covered that in previous cases. The hyoid bone can determine whether somebody was strangled or not, right? Hyoid bone, if it's broken or not. Hyoid bone, strangulation. There was a whole thing. We got into this on other cases before. I don't remember off the top of my head. Strangulation. The hyoid bone is a U-shaped bone in the neck that is fractured in 1/3 of all homicides by strangulation. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, let me see if I can just show you guys a picture. Okay. Yeah, hyoid bone. I forgot what case it was that we were talking about this hyoid bone thing. I mean, they talk about it all the time, but so I guess it's a common thing. It's fractured in 1/3 of all homicides by strangulation. Well, 1/3, okay. I guess that's just a piece of the puzzle. The hyoid bone was found. The 2 greater horns of the neck bone were missing. These structures, the larynx and the hyoid bone, are often fractured during homicidal manual strangulation. My examination of the recovered body of the hyoid bone after it had been anthropologically defleshed showed a roughness at the margins where the separated horns had been attached. Toxicology wasn't able to be performed on skeletal muscle and contents of cranial cavity. No drugs of of abuse, including cocaine, were found. The death certificate was issued as cause of death undetermined, manner of death undetermined. Shannon's mother told me that her daughter had been in good health, no surgical procedures, no hospitalizations, and that she did use cocaine sometimes. It is my opinion, based on the circumstances of Shannon's death and on the materials that I have reviewed, that there is no evidence that she died of natural disease, of a drug overdose, or of drowning. There's insufficient information to determine the definite cause of death, but the autopsy findings are consistent with homicidal strangulation. So that's one of the dramas and things or points of contention with the story. And this lady was not mentioned in the presser today. This is the 32-page document, which I don't know if we'll have time to get into it in this stream. I might make a direct video one day or whatever, because we have like a 40-something minute video that we need to watch if they allow us to watch it without issues. But part of the DNA, and I have another article we can look at for that, but part of the DNA, this pizza box was sent to the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory for analysis, where a swab was taken from leftover pizza crust. On or about March 23rd, 2023, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory sent the swab from the pizza crust abandoned by defendant. So I saw some people in the chat earlier talking about make sure you finish the pizza. Abandoned by the defendant to forensic laboratory number 2. I mean, they'll find a way, right? Whether it's cigarettes or, I don't know, some type of thing that you drank from. And so they did the mitochondrial DNA profile. That's how they got this guy. Part of it, because there's also hair and stuff like that too. Let me show you this post that was shared by 10 to Life on the world of Twitter. The world of Twitter. Don't fuck with Twitter. Oh, they'll come for you. Don't fuck with Twitter. This is like a nice little brief synopsis, though I think we're going to get into a lot of this in the article. Yeah, let me do the article so we can go chronologically. But this has a nice little, I think it's a screenshot of an article. Probably the one that I'm going to look at. So we're going to watch this in a second. I just want to read the Daily Mail article. This is the one that like has the 911 calls before Shannon Gilbert's disappearance. Gilgo Beach murders list. This was a year ago. Listen to unedited 911 calls before Shannon Gilbert's disappearance. I want to check that out. I read the timeline. I don't think we need to do that again. Let's start at the top of this for the people that missed the beginning. This is kind of like a good synopsis, kind of a long article. But it has the pictures, the pizza crust, the searches we'll skip. We covered that already. Homeboy taking selfies for the ladies online. And so these women, I guess they were doing, online sex work, Craigslist, and that's how he was able to, I guess, lure them. It says Long Island serial killer suspect Rex left his wife's hair on 3 of the prostitutes he accused of murdering and his own DNA on another's body. Prosecutors have revealed as he makes his first court appearance, which, for those wondering, he pled not guilty to all charges. Suspect appears emotionless in court. All right. 59 years old, was dramatically arrested last night in Midtown Manhattan outside his architectural office on 5th Avenue. He's suspected of the murders in the Gilgo Beach 4, where prostitutes whose remains were found in the Long Island Beach in December 2010. Today, he was charged with the murders of Melissa, Amber, and Megan. He has been named the prime suspect in Maureen, plus they're investigating the other 6 bodies that were found near the beach in 2011. He has not responded to the bombshell charges. This is a picture of him. He was let out of the Long Island police station this afternoon in handcuffs, towering over the police officers escorting him. That's him right there. Taken into a police van. So this is a good thing here too. His wife's DNA was found on 3 of the victims' bodies. How? I don't know. And I think when these murders occurred, I thought they said like his wife was out traveling or something. One of his own hairs was found on one of the victims' bodies. Cell phone calls made from a burner phone to the victims were traced to his office. A call made to one of the victim's sisters after she died was traced to his office. His Tinder profile with photos of him was linked to his burner phone. His Chevrolet pickup truck was seen by witness to one victim's disappearance. He matches description of org-like man seen with one victim before she vanished. Org, damn, this described his ass as an org. You guys know what an org is? It's like Shrek. Or anybody play Warcraft? Org. I guess he kind of looks like that. I wonder how tall he is. A big guy. Org. And they don't have that great pictures over here. I'm looking. Something like that. Org. Oh, can't see it. Described like that. Like one of those, I don't know, big creatures, I guess. Heuermann conducted graphic searches of child P, which I just decided, like, why show that? It's just, and images of women being abused. He also searched Google for updates on the case, searching why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island killer. He's like, damn, they haven't caught me? The evidence was laid out in a 32-page letter by the Suffolk County DA's office explaining why he shouldn't be granted bail. It details how a new task force set up by Suffolk County DA last year came across his name within months of investigation, prompting questions about why previous investigative units failed to nail him. So this is what this guy mentioned during the presser, this whole new task force. And his first link to the case was through the Chevrolet Avalanche truck that he owned in 2009 and 2010 when the women were murdered. The vehicle was seen at the homes of at least one of the victims the day before she went missing. He lived near the Massapequa, I forgot how to say that park, where he still resides with his family, but his Icelandic wife was out of town when the murders occurred. And supposedly, according to one Twitter post, I don't know if it's true, they said he has 2 kids. I don't know. In addition to the car matching the vehicle seen at the victim's home, police were able to trace phone calls made from a burner phone to the victims to set up rendezvous to areas surrounding his home and his Manhattan office, which let me show you a picture of they did post his home and stuff like that. Some people were talking about this should look ratchet for an architect. Let's see. It was on some, here's one, but this doesn't really give a great angle. Home. This is from one of the articles. It's probably on this one or one of them. When they were searching. Doesn't give a great view, but I'm going to pull you up another one. Going with all kinds of stuff in there. Let me give you a front view of that. Mo had sent this earlier. Oh, there you go. Thanks for the pictures. Oh, okay. I'm looking at it too. First 23 minutes. Nah. Okay. Let me show this picture here. House.png. There's another better look at the front of that. Oh, wait, let me not do. Well, he did say the address in the press conference, so it's not like it matters, I guess. But let me do this. Okay. Okay. At the end of the day, it's kind of whatever. But yeah, an architect. That's his house. Look, I guess it was a fixer-upper or whatever. Ogre. Thank you. I don't know what I say. Ogar? All right. I'm going to keep going through this, but I want to... The one part in the press conference, I asked the mods to search for me. And Mo and Diggs were looking. It's 2909. At one part, they were talking about, I guess one of the females had set up a guy. I wonder if it was this guy, one of the victims. I want to listen to that again because I didn't get to catch it. 2909.
From her was exposed to weight. She met with an individual for the purposes
Maybe take it back just a little bit.
January and February of 2022, we did as well. And then in January and February of 2022, we formed the task force. We began working collectively. And then a mere 6 weeks later, on March 14th, 2022, Rex Heuermann was identified for the first time. And the manner in which that was done was the New York State investigator looked at a database. Amber Costello, the day before her disappearance on September 1st, 2010, she met with an individual for the purposes of having him pay her money for her services. But she involved herself in a ruse where once the individual gave her money, and other individuals came into the house, pretended to be significant others, confronted the individual with the purpose of making that individual uncomfortable, having him leave without retrieving his money. And that's exactly what happened. So that individual was identified as a person who was between 6'4" and 6'6".
Okay, so she tried to. So I wonder what happened though. I mean, I guess that she was running like a scheme or something and that's something you hear about too in sex work sometimes, that guys can sometimes get set up. You think you're meeting somebody, it's a woman or whatever, all of a sudden a bunch of guys show up or whatever and you're getting you for your money. And a lot of times guys don't report that because then it's like, well, who are you going to report? Oh, I was getting this paying for sex. You know, a lot of times it doesn't get reported. Amber Costello set him up. I sent you the video of her friend she loved with lots of insight into her. I saw the video you sent me. It's a YouTuber's video. You said it's towards the end. I can play some of it, like a snippet, and then I'll put the video to the link. You told me on Instagram it's in towards the end. It was like 53. Let's see something. You can listen for a little bit. I don't know how far.
Bad idea, man.
With Amber and Gravin, it's pretty
Bad idea, man.
With Amber and Gravin, it's pretty
To my knowledge, yes. But this is through Kim again, who's not a good source of information. Kim will give you bits of information that's convenient for Kim. Now,
so this is Amber's friend.
You know, Kim said, you know, oh, she could just be spending the weekend, you know, a couple of days with this guy, or maybe she went back to Carolina, or maybe she went to Florida, just moved on. None of it makes sense. She would never just get up and disappear and not say a word to me, not say a word to Dave. It wouldn't happen. Kim was downplaying this. I knew the severity of this situation. I knew it. I just had the gut feeling she's in trouble or she's dead.
Ooh.
I was leaning more towards she was dead.
Lived with him. Okay, thanks, Carly.
I usually go to the worst because usually it's the worst that it is. I told her to call the cops. She said she called them. She said she put in a missing persons report. It turns out that's a lie. And now you're dealing with lost. The more time goes by where they don't know somebody's missing, more information's gone, more evidence is gone, more things, you know, there could have been a lot more.
That's true. Mama to Five King says most don't report it because they're worried about their wives finding out. That's true too with the guys that get drugged and robbed by women. I've read, because we've caught that a couple of times here in Florida, the guys that get drugged, a lot of them won't say anything because they're like in a relationship or married, or sometimes they're just embarrassed, but a lot of times they're in relationships.
Have you seen this girl? Have you seen this girl? Have you seen this girl? Well, people's memories are still fresh.
Did law enforcement ever interview you?
Yes, I saw law enforcement after the remains were found. And after, I don't know how Amber was identified. They said that he identified a tattoo on her arm. They said she was badly decomposed. And I think they did dental records. Because with the sisters. Oh?
They did DNA with them.
Kim, right? Because I know Amber did have dental work done in New York. She did have, she had really bad teeth. And she was getting her teeth fixed.
You were away at this point?
I was in rehab. During the whole time I was in rehab. Yes, I was at the funeral. Oh no, was I in rehab during when they found the remains? No, I was back at my father's house. I was done with rehab. I was sober. I I was working, and nobody knew where she went. I knew in my heart she was dead. I knew it. She's gone for 6 months. No way she's alive, or she's being held against her will. One or two things, or both of them are bad. I'll tell you what. My wife's sister, who I really don't like, sorry, sweetie, asked me and my wife to watch a movie called Megan's Missing. You ever heard of that?
No.
Probably the most disturbing movie I've ever watched in my life. It's actually outlawed in like New Zealand and Australia. It's so graphic and horrific. And it was made as a movie. They made it this graphic for a reason. Apparently, from what I read about this movie, Megan's Missing, is to inform people of the dangers of online dating and how dark the world could get. And so when I watched this movie, my thoughts go to Amber in that type of a situation. I don't know what Amber went through before she died. I know she died very badly. Strangled to death is what they said. But who knows what she went through before that? I mean, being strangled to death itself is a very bad way to leave this earth. But who knows what she went through beforehand? I hope the guy just ended it. Is my only hope that it was a very fast thing. Because the thought of my friend being tortured or some crazy stuff before that is a really bad thought.
Damn, that's crazy, man.
It's not sorry to me. I'm sorry to Amber. I'm alive. I'm here. I wish I drew that hard line and wouldn't let these girls have made this choice of work they made.
Those are tough beats, man. I think that's the crazy things.
Yeah, drugs.
Said that she didn't have her chance of redemption. Look at you, you changed your life. You guys, why? She didn't have that chance.
No, she didn't have that chance, and she'll never have that chance.
Okay, so I put that's crazy to hear that, man. Carly says she's gonna look for the part where he talks about the scheming. So if we get back to if she finds that, I'll play that in a bit. I want to continue the Daily Mail article, and then I want to get to the 911 calls. I guess there's so much to this story. I didn't even know there was going to be that much. But I did put this guy's page and video in the description. So if you want to check it out after or whatever, his page is named Winters Brothers Stories. Maybe I'll watch the rest of this later or something. But all right, so let's continue. Oh, that's crazy. All right, so we heard the scheming part. So they set up the new task force, and the first link was the Chevrolet, and the victim was seen at one of the victim's home. The vehicle was seen at one of the victim's home. He lived nearby Massapequa Park, where he still resides with his family, but his Icelandic wife, what's that right? Was out of town when the murders occurred. In addition to the car matching the vehicle was seen at the victim's home, police were able to trace phone calls made by the burner phone to the victims to set up rendezvous around the areas of his home and his Manhattan office. Another call was made to one of the victim's relatives after she vanished. That call was traced to his office. Homeboy taking selfies. Oh, this one is Tinder profile pictures. Damn, bro, really? Oh, he's handsome. Police tracked the fictitious email account he used on his profile and his burner phone number to the case. A lot of people think these burner phones protect them. Bruh. Another photo he used on the dating app. He's said to have sent photos to women asking for hookups. Okay, so he's probably just offering money and stuff, no matter what you look like, I guess. The pizza box, we talked about that. In January this year, after watching Heuermann and his family since last March, the detectives in the case seized the pizza box he had thrown in the trash outside his Manhattan office. They got the crust. That's the trash. He also used fictitious email accounts and more burner phone numbers for a Tinder profile that he posted where he posted photos of himself last year. In addition to the hard evidence linking him to specific murders, he also conducted incriminating internet searches with search terms like he also searched heinous Google searches for child pee and violent sexual images. In January this year, after watching him and his family since last March, the detectives in the case seized a pizza box he had thrown out in the trash outside of the office. His DNA from one of the crusts was a 99.6% match to a male hair found at the bottom of the burlap sack one of the victims was found in. Oh, so they got his ass with the pizza. The pizza linked his ass back. This would definitely be an interesting trial if it's streamed. I sent you an article about peaches and baby dough. Okay, we're going to get that. Thanks. I messaged you a Discord about peaches dough. We'll get to that. Thank you. Prosecutors also discovered unidentified female hairs on 3 of the victims. They initially traced Heuermann to the case by matching a description of his Chevrolet truck to the vehicle he owned at the time of the murders. That hair thing reminds me of this chick. I don't want to say who this chick I was dating one time. I know it's kind of, but I didn't want to stay at her house, and she was just like, "Oh no, it's okay, sleep over." No, I didn't want to stay there, but she insisted while she went to work. I was gonna leave in the morning, but she wanted me to stay over. Anyway, she comes back home, and she goes into the bathroom, and then she comes out, and she's just looking at me funny, and she's like, "I found a hair follicle in the sink, like one strand of hair," and I'm like, "Okay," and she's like, "Oh, it's a female's hair," and I'm like, "Okay," like, what do you want me to do? It was so odd. It was weird, and I didn't even want to be there. And she was like, "Oh, it's not my hair." I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what to tell you." Like, what? Never. And so I asked to see the hair, and she's like, "Oh, I washed it down." So freaking odd. But I don't know why that made me think of like this hair thing over here. Female hairs on 3 of the victims. They initially traced Heuermann to the case by matching a description, which I might have think, and the reason that made me think about that, because at the time I was at my mother's. And so I think maybe somehow, because I had clothes that I had brought over or something, like maybe somehow when I was at my mother's or something, I had brought hair with me or something like that. But she told me there was one single hair. It was one of those awkward things because I didn't want to be in that house anymore. I just felt like I was being accused, and I wouldn't do something trash like that to bring somebody to somebody else's place while they're gone. It was so freaking odd. But the only thing I could think of, maybe she made that up. I don't know if it's true or not. I was trying to see the evidence. But the only thing I could think of is that maybe I brought in hair from outside or something. Yeah, she thought she was implying that I brought somebody over. It was crazy. I don't know. That's why I don't know. This kind of reminded me of that in a way. Just the hair carrying, maybe. I don't know. So they initially traced Heuermann to the case by matching a description of his Chevrolet truck to the vehicle he owned at the time of the murders. The car was seen at the home by Amber Costello. Oh, wow. One of the victims who vanished on September 2nd, 2010. That's the one that was setting people up or running like a scheme. This is a snippet of the interview he did.
Rex Heuermann. I'm an architect. I'm an architectural consultant. I'm a troubleshooter. Born and raised on Long Island.
Okay.
Been working in Manhattan since 1987. I do troubleshooting, architectural troubleshooting, and negotiations with the building department.
Okay.
What I mean by that is, do we do the standard stuff with the building department? Handle your filings. I have other clients who are a lot of other architects. Mm-hmm. And we'll handle their interactions with the building department, especially out-of-city architects, because they're a little afraid of the city. And when a job that should have been routine suddenly becomes not routine, I get the phone call.
Gotcha.
Whether it's an old building and they need somebody that understands and can maneuver the 1938 building code, or the current building code. You look surprised when I say 1938 building code. I've actually used the 1901 old tenement laws here in the city of New York. And you can.
He looks excited and stuff to talk, be interviewed, and just carrying on like normal. Police sources tell Daily Mail good old-fashioned police work led to his arrest. Breakthrough came by matching location of his home and office to the location of burner phone calls made to the victims. Chilling similarities can be drawn between Heuermann and a married father of two and a married father of two. Yeah, he has two kids. And the killer described in 2011 FBI profile of the Gilgo Beach killer. That profile described a sadistic but charming average Joe who could blend in and into any environment unnoticed. He lived seemingly normal average Joe life until yesterday. The profiles told the New York Times that the suspect was likely financially stable and bright. He may have sought treatment at a hospital for poison ivy infection as part of his job or interest. He has access to or a stockpile of burlap sacks. He grew up in Massapequa Park, attending high school with Billy Baldwin, and started working in Manhattan in 1987. He was married once in 1990 and again years later to his current wife, Asia Urlup, who is of Iceland descent. He and Asia have an adult daughter, Victoria, who works with Heuermann at his architectural firm, and a stepson, Asia's son from a previous marriage. That's got to be mind-blowing to these people. Imagine that shit. Part of his job was to negotiate between the City of New York's Department of Buildings and private architects. In a 2022 video, Heuermann boasted about his architectural career working with the New York City's Department of Buildings. I was born and raised in Long Island and have been working in Manhattan since 1987. Okay, I think let's get to the 911 video. Sherry Gilbert, the sister of Shannon Gilbert, was that the one that stabbed 200 times the mama? One of the victims told NBC that she was relieved an arrest had been made. Oh, no. I'm thinking of the wrong person. It's got to be the wrong person. Maybe it's another sister. Okay. All right, let's get to this video. My boy dressed up. The victims. Partial skeletal remains of Valerie Mack were located in a wooded area in Manorville in September 2000. Partial skeletal remains of Jessica Taylor, an escort working in New York City, were located in a wooded area in Manorville, July 26, 2003. Who knows? Who knows how many people he might have killed? Oh, this is the Asian person. A suspect was arrested in connection with Long Island's notorious Gilgo Beach murders. Among with the victims was Shannon Gilbert, who was found dead in a swamp in Oak Beach. So the Asian male was discovered along Ocean Park, April 4th, 2011. Police believe it was a transgendered sex worker who had been dead for up to 5 years. Wow. Now there's the map of the bodies. Costello, Barthmelly, Barnes, Waterman, Asian male, Jessica Taylor. I mean, they're really not far from each other at all. Wait, can I save this? Let me convert it. All right, I want to do this 911 stuff. Hopefully it's not a problem to play this. Been here for a while. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm waiting a little bit, so I think we'll take a little break and start just listening to this. Let me just get the super chats real quick. Welsh Dragon, thank you so much for the super chats. Hi, Mel. So pleased you're covering this. I hope Maddie as well. You're amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Shout out Mamas for the weekend. So I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, but I have a couple days. Kimberly's Memories, thank you for the membership. Rebecca, thank you for the 6-month membership. Whoop, whoop, 6 months, half year. Jennifer, thank you for the membership. Gypsy, thank you for the 8-month membership. Yes, Shannon was found. They said it was accidental. Job for 18 months. Thank you so much. Still here, rock with your mail. God bless everyone. Thank you. Zach Thornhill, thank you for the 3-month membership. Everyone go like this live and show some love. Thank you so much. Aussie Ali, always watching from Australia. You're fantastic, Mel. Thank you. Gator Girl, thank you for coming a member. Linda Fontaine, thank you for the membership. Hello, everyone. And I think we're caught up. Thank you guys on Facebook for the likes. Robin L, thank you for the 3 months. Thank you for resubscribing. Hey, Mel, thanks for all you do. Elvis Gal, thank you for the 12 months. Amazing. Thank you, Mel and Mods. You're amazing. Sonia Bleezy, thank you for the 7 months. I voted no, but I have heard of this. Uh-oh. Thanks, Sonia. Samantha, just kidding. Jesse, thank you for the membership. Amy, thank you for the 5 months. There is a movie, Lost Girls, about this case. The Megan one everybody's saying is really, really... What's that? Let me see. She said Megan is Missing is a really crazy movie, but it's very graphic. Tula Bear, thank you for the membership. It's pronounced ogre. Thank you. Thank you, Jane A. Thank you for the 15 months. Oh my God, I've been absent so long. Hello, everyone. Hey, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Let's get to it.
I'm Detective Lieutenant Kevin Byra, the commanding officer of the Suffolk County Police Homicide Section.
Okay.
This video was made to explain the circumstances surrounding the 3 911 calls made on the day Shannon Gilbert went missing.
Hopefully we don't got a problem playing
the
this.
full, unedited 911 calls are available, and I encourage people to listen to them in their entirety. Portions of the call taken out of context will sound sensational. During the early morning hours of May 1st, 2010, Shannon Gilbert, a Craigslist sex worker and resident of Jersey City, New Jersey, traveled from Manhattan to meet a client, Joseph Brewer.
Oh, Last Girls is about Shannon? Okay, the girl we're talking about now.
At his home at 8 The Fairway, Oak Beach, New York. Shannon was driven to Oak Beach from Jersey, traveled from Manhattan to meet a client, Joseph Brewer, at his home at 8 The Fairway, Oak Beach, New York. Shannon was driven to Oak Beach from Manhattan by her driver, Michael Pack. Neither one was familiar with the area, neither one had been there before, and neither one had met Brewer before. Pack waited in the car while Shannon was inside with Brewer. Pack was her de facto security. At 4:51 a.m., while at Brewer's house, Shannon called 911. This call lasts for more than 21 minutes. At times, Shannon is speaking calmly, but slurring her words. At times, she is not responsive, and at times, she is screaming. During this call, Brewer and Pack are heard trying to get Shannon to leave the house. Shannon eventually does leave the house and runs to Gus Coletti's house, located at 17 The Fairway, which causes him to call 911 at 5:22 a.m.
Let me get this guy's name again. That's weird. During the early morning hours of May 1st, 2010, Shannon Gilbert traveled to meet everything he just said. Traveled to meet the client Joseph Brewer at his home in the Fairway in the Oak Beach Association. Okay.
State Police, Trooper Fry.
Thank you, Zero
State
Cool.
Police.
Yeah, there's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Okay, where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you, ma'am?
I don't know.
You're driving right now?
No, I'm inside the house.
I'm sorry?
I'm inside the house.
What house?
I don't know. Can you trace where I am?
I'm sorry?
Can you trace where I am?
No, I can't. What's your callback number you're calling from?
Huh?
What phone number are you calling from?
Somebody's after me. Please.
Are you in Suffolk County or Nassau County?
I'm in Long Island.
Where on Long Island are you?
No. 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 No, stop, no.
Where in Long Island are you? In Suffolk County? Nassau County?
Huh? Why? Why you call me by my name? Why?
County, you on the line?
Stop. Please. Stop it, please. Please stop. Please. Can you shut the door?
No, time to go.
Please. Please. Please.
Go that way, please. Come on, let's go. Come on, we're all going outside. Come on, go outside. Oh. Come on, all of us. Come on, we're all going outside. Come on.
No, please.
Come on. Come on. Please, come on.
Please.
Come on.
Why?
Just come out here. Come on. I'm upstairs. I'm upstairs. You leave. I'm upstairs.
Hey, Brewer and Pack continued to try and convince Shannon to leave the premises. I wonder what was going on. It's confusing. So Brewer's the homeowner. Pack, he's the guy that is her driver, which I guess is security or whatever. And they're trying to convince her to leave. And why doesn't she want to leave? And I'm also wondering what happened to this guy, Joseph Brewer. Was he ever looked into? Like, what's up with that?
I'm upstairs. I'm upstairs. You leave. I'm going to go upstairs. You leave. I'm going to go upstairs.
Carly says the driver was called into the house because she wouldn't leave the client's house.
Hey, you leave, please. Please, get that. My hold. All right. What's the matter? Are you okay?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me? Why?
Huh? Yeah, I don't know. But it was transferred to me.
Why?
No.
What are you going to tell me?
I think it's just a county on the minute transfer to me. The county won't answer me.
Why are you going to...
Call Suffolk number.
You freaking down. Come on.
I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Let's go back to Manhattan. All right? We're in Long Island. We're out near the water.
Please, stop.
Me, Mike. Brother, come on.
No, stop it, please.
Second operator closed the call.
Hello? Please. What's the problem? What's the matter? What happened? Hello? Please, get me out of here, Lee.
After this video, too, remind me if I forget, we're going to talk about the baby that was deceased, or the toddler.
Hello? You're being sarcastic about this. You were part of this all along.
I have met him just now.
Shannon then ran from Brewer's house at 8 the Fairway to Gus Coletti's house at 17 the Fairway, a distance of 0.2 of a mile.
Shannon.
Shannon interacts with Coletti. He invites her inside his home.
So she runs over to this other house now, where it shows her on the map, and I guess...
Shannon.
What's the matter? Hello. Somebody at you? Huh?
Hello? Hello?
Are you alright? Don't keep yourself hurt. Where are you going? Wait a minute. Where are you going? Where are you going?
She then runs from Coletti's home, prompting Coletti to call 911. After Coletti's call, Shannon then runs another 0.2 of a mile to another home at 43 the Bayou, prompting a third 911 call made at 5:30 a.m. by Barbara Brennan.
Suffolk Police 873 with location of emergency.
Yes, I live at Oak Beach in the association. There's a young girl about 14 years old running around here screaming, and there's some guy trying to follow her.
What's the address there?
I'm at 17 the Fairway.
All right. You have a description of the girl or the boy?
Pardon me?
Do you have a description of the girl or the boy?
The girl is about 14 years old, got blonde hair, very small. The boy, I can't tell. He was into like a Suburban.
What color?
Black.
So Michael Pack, Shannon's driver, was operating a black SUV.
Did you happen to get a plate number or any?
No, I didn't.
Okay, telephone number you're calling from?
Fourth.
Are they still on the fairway?
They just went past the gatehouse where the entrance is.
And what's the name of the complex?
It's Oak Beach Association.
Okay.
Out by Robert Moses.
All right, we got somebody over there.
I'll be watching.
Oh, okay.
Bye.
Barbara Brennan. So now she knocks on another door, Barbara Brennan's door, prompting a third 911 call.
875. What is the location of your emergency?
43 the Bayou. Some woman is knocking at my door.
What town are you in?
Oak Beach Association.
What's the nearest corner street there?
Ocean Parkway. She says she's in danger.
Do you know her or no?
No, I don't. I'm not letting her in.
Oh, shit. What would you guys... I'm going to run a poll. If somebody goes banging on your door, help, let me in, let me in. Do you... I mean, you're going to call 911, but do you open the door or do you not open the door?
She's banging on your door there?
Yes.
Did she say what kind of danger?
No.
Oh.
And we live in a gated community.
What's your name, ma'am?
Barbara Brennan.
What's there a name to that community?
Oak Beach Association.
Oak Beach Association.
And I have an elderly mother here.
All right, I'll get somebody right over there, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is drone footage and footage shot from the ground showing the marshland. It was taken at the same time of year and time of day as when Shannon went missing. These reeds can grow over 12 feet tall.
Oh.
They can disorient someone inside them, causing them to lose a sense of direction. One cannot tell where the highway is or where the bay is. The reeds and brush can become impenetrable in places. There's a trench running east and west through the marshland. This was created to allow mosquito control. It is believed that Shannon followed this trench. Personal belongings of hers were found just north of the trench. Shannon's remains were found north of the trench, about 158 feet south of Ocean Parkway, approximately 3/4 of a mile from where she was last seen.
So this right here, because it's kind of hard to read, I guess this is the third location. This was the third house that she had run to. Then over here says, I think it says belongings or personal belongings recovered. I think her belongings are recovered here. And then all the way over here it says Shannon Gilbert's body recovered. All the way to the right.
There has been information received during the course of this investigation that other people might be involved in this incident. They have all been investigated, and there is no reason to believe at this time that anyone else is involved in this tragic series of events. The police responded to Coletti and Brennan's 911 calls. Pack, Brewer, and Shannon were all gone. Gus Coletti provided a description of Pack's car, which was also gone. This created the possibility that Shannon had been driven out of the area, which caused a delay in the initial search for her. The police department has thoroughly investigated this case for more than a decade. The official cause of Shannon's death is undetermined. This official classification means there is insufficient or no evidence to determine or even to exclude an actual cause of death. The Gilbert family has hired a private pathologist to conduct an autopsy. His determination is there is insufficient information to determine a definite cause of death, but the autopsy findings are consistent with homicidal strangulation. That pathologist's report will be made available. This case, including the 911 call, and all of the other cases,
the pathologist report
are consistent with homicidal strangulation. His determination is there is insufficient information to...
So, remember, so they said insufficient for strangulation, though they got this other person, that's Dr. Baden, that said it is consistent with strangulation. That's where these two
determine
differences.
Definite cause of death, but the autopsy findings are consistent with homicidal strangulation. That pathologist's report will be made available. This case, including the 911 call, and all of the other cases commonly referred to as Gilgo, in their entirety, were made available to the Behavioral Analysis Unit, or BAU, of the FBI. As part of BAU's review of the case, they retained the services of a psychiatrist to review Shannon's words and actions on the 911 tape, and also to review the facts of the case. BAU's opinion, based on their review of Shannon's case, the scene, the 911 calls, and a psychiatrist review, is that Shannon Gilbert's death is not consistent with Shannon being the victim of violence or of a violent offender. Significant differences between Shannon's death and the circumstances surrounding the other victims' deaths were also highlighted by BAU. The Suffolk County Police Department is open to evaluate any evidence to be able to help us and all involved determine a definite cause of death. However, based on the evidence, the facts, and the totality of the circumstances, the prevailing opinion is that Shannon's death, while tragic, was not a murder and is most likely an accident. While we are of the opinion that this was an unfortunate accident, we remain open to evaluate any information that the public may have.
So the family disagrees
Anyone
with
with
this.
information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-220-TIPS.
Listen to the full.
Online, how can I assist you? Hello? Hello? Hello, you dialed into the 911 system. How can I assist you? Hello?
Yeah.
Do you need the police?
Yeah.
Where?
That's good.
Where? Who's there with you? Hello? What's going on?
Well, somebody asked me.
What?
Somebody asked me.
Somebody is harassing you?
After me.
Who?
He's Tracy Ariane.
Let me talk to him.
He's Tracy Ariane.
Let me talk to him.
Applied to Jones Beach.
Gypsy said that the guy that this woman, the guy that the house that Shannon was at, this guy was kind of sketchy and he was a doctor. Ooh. Sandy, thank you so much for the super chat. Love you. Hope you're doing good. The neighbor doctor called Shannon's mom and said he had helped Shannon. What? Can we listen? Let me listen to that real quick because BL sent me this. Let's jump on this real quick. It just goes with the mother of the woman that we're listening to now in these 911 calls that disappeared, went missing. That when they went looking for her call and they finally found her body, I guess way after, they found a bunch of other bodies. That leads to this situation.
He said,
Take it easy. Think about. What? They shut down the strip. They detected it. All right, we got enough in though. Damn. Hopefully it doesn't drop. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully we're good. If not, let's give it a second. Bruh. I knew I didn't want to play around with that network. Are we still here though? We're good. You guys still see me? Let's see. Oh, that was a different video. Okay. All right, let's continue. Oh, they temporarily blocked it. Damn it. Give it a second. Wayward. Stream went down. No! Give me a home and give me a give me a. Half people say yes, half people say no. Give me a home. We gonna ride out on the country. Just kiss me tonight, then kiss me tomorrow. But don't let me know why. One time I sang on a country farm. Don't you know? 'Cause I love you. Should I start another stream? Oh. Okay, hold on. Hold for a sec. Hold for a sec. Don't you? Sometimes you gotta sing it out. Sing and pray for Jesus. Sing and pray. 'Cause you know we gotta hold hands together. I think Lupe Goldsmith, thank you for the super chat. Said I think Lost Girls movie is about this case. You just gotta hold on, hang on, man. Hold on to the ride. Don't fret, don't get scared. Don't want none, won't be none. Is it still there? Stream suspended for possible. Come on, man. Let's see. Come on. Give me a song. Maybe I have to start a new stream. Oh my god, you're suspended! I just started part 2, maybe. Oh, there we go. Oh. I'm back. We're here, and we're here. All right, like 600 people left. That's right. You guys ready to continue? Give me a home. All right, so let's get back to it. Somebody did message me and said that is Shannon's mother dead, and she is. We were talking about that earlier. It's kind of crazy because Shannon's mother, the other daughter of Shannon, is what she loved. Let me pull this shit up right here. Sarah Gilbert stabbed her mother to death. Shannon's mama, Sarah Gilbert, stabbed the mother 200 times. 200 times. All right, you guys ready to continue? 911 call? Let's go.
You're at Jones Beach?
5 at Jones Beach.
All right, let me connect you to state police. Stay on the line.
Why?
You got to talk louder to them.
Why? Why?
State Police, Trooper Fry. State Police.
Yeah, there's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Okay, where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you, ma'am?
I don't know.
You're driving right now?
No, I'm inside the house.
I'm sorry?
I'm inside the house.
What house?
I don't know. Can you trace where I am?
I'm sorry?
Can you trace where I am?
No, I can't. What's your callback number you're calling from?
Huh?
What phone number are you calling from?
Somebody's after me. Please.
Are you in Suffolk County or Nassau County?
I'm in Long Island.
Where on Long Island are you?
No, stop, no.
Where in Long Island are you? In Suffolk County? Nassau County?
Huh? Why? Why are you calling me by my name? Why?
County, you on the line?
Stop. Please. Stop it, please. Please stop. Please, can you shut the door?
No, time to go.
Please.
You okay?
Please.
Please. Go that way, please. Go, come on, let's go. Come on, roll that side. Come on, go outside. Oh, come on, all of us. Come on, roll outside. Come on.
No, please.
Come on. Come on. Please, come on.
Please.
Come on.
Why? Why?
County, are you on the line?
Hurry up, I want to show you something.
Why?
I want to show you this. Please come on. Please.
Why? Why are you guys doing this to me?
What?
Doing this.
What county are you in, ma'am?
Doing this.
Courthouse cat, thank
Why are you calling me by my name? Please. No, please. No. No, stop it, please. Stop it, please. Please stop it. Please stop it. No, stop it. Please stop it. No.
Let me fix that.
Please stop it. No, please stop it, please. Please stop it, please. No, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me? Stop it.
Please, get him out of here. What do you want?
For those wondering, they're playing the full audio. So when we watched the beginning, I didn't start the video over, but when we watched the beginning, they were playing snippets, and then now they're playing the full unedited audio.
No, no.
Go on. I'm upstairs. I'm upstairs. Julie, I'm upstairs. Okay? Julie, please. Please, get your take care. My hold. Alright, what's the matter? Are you okay?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me? Why?
Huh? Well, I don't know. But it was transferred to me.
Why? Are you going to kill me?
It's running through, I think it's Suffolk County on the number transfer to Suffolk County Monarchy.
Why are you going to
Call Suffolk County.
You freaking down, come on.
I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Let's go back to...
Stacey says that, yes, I believe they injected her.
Oh, let's go back to Manhattan. We're in Long Island. We're up near the water.
Please, stop.
Me, Mike. Brother, come on.
No, stop it, please.
Oh, okay, fine.
Please, take my time to let you guys.
I'm near the water.
You guys? I didn't do anything.
631. 511.
Why? Mike, you close that?
Some kind of mic here.
Wait. Why? Why?
Come on.
Why? Why, Mike? For fun? To leave? I'm never going to enjoy it again. Why? I never do. I never did. Mike, please. Mike, please. Please.
Good, come on.
Please.
There's something that can, I don't know what phone she's calling from, but I can't take her back. And where this person's coming from? She needs help.
You're like, I'm going to find my way home.
There's something in the house with the female. And the female was the initial caller.
So this is all set up?
You set everything up? I waited for you. You told me you're going to find your way home, so I was like, what? You know, nothing that I saw.
So this is all set up?
You never did this before.
Put it back there.
Well, you're joking with me, right?
Why?
I don't know. What are you doing that?
All right, I'll say I was lying. I was lying.
You did?
Why?
It was a 631 number.
Why?
You can try talking to her, but she's not.
Please.
Since she's got the phone down.
Please.
Hello?
Hello? Please.
What's the matter? What happened? Hello?
Please, get me out of here, Lee.
Hello?
You're being sarcastic about this. You were part of this all along.
I just met him just now.
Mike, please. I'm begging you. I just want to go home. Why?
Well, we can give them.
Yeah, right? Dispatch slacking. They're just chilling.
What's the
Cops should have been out there.
573-9308.
Hey,
Is that us?
what's going on?
I think so.
What? Yeah.
Extension answering. That's the number that came in.
Why are you sitting there knocking about this house then? Something's gonna happen to me.
There's nobody outside.
Yeah, you could call it.
You're okay, right?
But we're not going to know where it is. County should call it.
Right.
No, isn't that the county phone number?
Please.
Every time county 911 tries to put something over.
Okay. Fine. Get out of here. What's on the phone?
Oh, it does? Hot Suffolk? It's got to be Suffolk, right? Hello?
Stop it. Stop it, Mike.
Hello, where are you?
Huh?
Where are you?
What's going on there?
What's your name?
Where's the bathroom? I'll see you.
What's your name?
Shannon Gilbert.
What's your name?
Shannon Gilbert.
Where are you?
I'm in Long Island.
And what's wrong?
Huh?
What happened?
These people are plotting to kill me.
Where are you? What's your address? What's your address?
My address.
What's your address?
No, Mike, stop, Mike. Here. Mike, stop. Mike, stop, Mike. Mike, stop it.
Where are you?
Mike, stop it. Mike, stop it.
What's your name, Shannon?
Huh? Mike, stop.
What?
Come here.
Where are you? What's your address? Hello?
You want me in front of police?
Yeah, hold on a minute. I know you're telling the truth. The address.
What are we going to tell them?
Tell them something. Mike, stop it. You guys are planning something. Mike.
Where are you?
Mike.
We're fine then. Why are we all...
Are you in the house?
Yeah. Mike, stop it.
What town are you in?
Long Island. Mike, it's...
Where?
Stop, Mike.
Where in Long Island?
Stop it, Mike. Mike, stop it.
Where in Long Island are you?
I'm on the way.
Hello?
gonna kill me.
Where in Long Island are you?
I don't know. They're gonna kill me.
Are you in a house?
Yeah, she's saying they want to kill me. I don't know. She ends up dead. They don't find her for quite a bit of time. Lupe, thank you so much for the super chat. Says I said that already. The Lost Girls movie. Yes. Helpcat, thank you for the 5-month membership. Says hit that like button. Work at OT Mel for us. Thank you. Leo for the 12 months. Thank you both for resubscribing. Hey Mel, 12 months. I ain't going nowhere. Best. Thank you so much. And Mike, the Menace. Thank you so much on Twitch for gifting subs. Thank you so much. That was really nice of you. Gifted 5 subs.
Are you?
There's the owner of the house, and because she was working as a sex worker, and then there's the driver of her car, and it's just,
house.
Yeah.
Whose house is it?
I don't know.
Who is Mike? What's his last name? Mike what? How old are you? What's his last name? What's his last name? What's his last name? Shannon. Shannon. Shannon?
Pretty creepy. Eerie.
Shannon.
Yeah.
What town? What town are you in? Hello? What's Mike's last name? Hello?
The guys didn't say anything to the 911 operator.
One of the guys.
I know, like they can hear, but they know she's on the phone.
Where are you? Where are you, Shannon? Shannon. Shannon.
1034.
1034, 963, Gray.
Shannon.
So I think this is when she takes off running, bruh.
She's not talking.
I want to put a case on.
You do?
I put this number back in the Is that the number she's calling from?
I think that's her number. 9308 is one of our extensions, I think.
Did you call that one?
Shannon? Hello?
Now she's banging on the door. I guess this is the second place she got to.
Where's the shield on the car?
1955.
Shannon?
Oh, 305. Amazing.
I wonder if she has a phone in her pocket.
Oh, phone in the pocket. That's what they're asking.
Shannon. Shannon. Shannon.
You gotta think about it. I mean, she takes all this time to run everywhere. I guess she has the phone right on her. She could say, I'm here, I'm there, this is the intersection or something. So I don't know if she was drugged or she was on something or what. What, she got no sound?
Somebody here too? Huh?
Hello? Hello?
Are you alright? Don't keep yourself hurt. Where are you going? Wait a minute. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Something like Dopert, D-O-P-E-R-T.
I think the Twitch audio got muted. I think when they blocked the stream temporarily. I want to touch on one other brief thing, and then I'm gonna head out. This other thing with the baby, this article here. Let's see, bigger screen. 4 of the remains were women. 1 was a female toddler, and 1 was an Asian male wearing woman's clothing. So some people were asking about the toddler, and I had Kitty and Carly and maybe somebody else send me an article about that. Is the FBI close to identifying the murder victim known as Peaches? An unidentified murder victim was given the moniker Peaches after authorities released this image of her tattoo in hopes someone will recognize her. Investigators appear to be one step closer to identifying a woman and her young child whose murder had been unsolved for 25 years and were linked to the gruesome Gilgo Beach murders. The Mobile Police Department in Alabama posted on Facebook that the FBI is seeking friends and family of Elijah Lee Howard, who lived in Pritchard, Alabama, with his wife Carrie and died in Mobile in 1963 with Lily Mae Wiggins Packer. The agency included in a post a photo of a tattoo that was found on an unidentified Long Island murder victim who is only known as Peaches. His relatives may be able to assist in the case of a woman and a child found in another state. Peaches' dismembered torso was found stuffed in a plastic bin at Hempstead Lake State Park in Lakeview on June 28, 1997. Additional skeletal remains were found in the brush off Ocean Parkway near Jones Beach State Park in April 2011. The press first reported in 2016 that investigators used DNA evidence to determine that Peaches was the mother of an unidentified toddler who was among 10 set of human remains found along the same parkway in 2010 and 2011 in what became known as the Long Island serial killer investigation. Peaches and her child were placed at opposite ends of the dumping grounds, while making them 2 victims who were the farthest apart from one another at Ocean Parkway. I wonder why. Peaches and her child were placed at opposite ends of the dumping grounds. Neither the FBI nor NASA nor Mobile Police responded to requests for comment, and Suffolk prosecutors declined to comment, but Suffolk Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison acknowledged that there was a slight lead. It's good that we were putting the names to the faces because maybe we get lucky and somebody down in Alabama knows something. So that's the whole thing with that. Howard's potential connection to Peaches remains unclear, although it's uncertain if he had children. Records show he had 3 siblings that have since died, but who did have children. That means there may be surviving nieces or nephews that could help investigators put a name to Peaches, advance the case, and help find the killer. Wow. He apparently wouldn't be the first that gave investigators hope. They were close to identifying Peaches. A tattoo artist in Connecticut previously told police that he was the one who gave Peaches her ink, but he did not have her name on file. Well, I'm done. I'm spent. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me Friday. Appreciate that. I'm going to take a little break. I don't know if we want to update the manhunt thing later. I'm going to take a break, get something to eat. Mama wanted to hang out for a little bit. I might go. I don't know if I'll do it tonight or tomorrow. I guess I owe her. So I don't know. We'll see. There is an update pressure they did today. We could do it. I don't know if there's any significant updates or not. He's not caught yet. Man's still on the run. So, but what a weird, odd story. So many deceased people. Kind of weird for sure. And hopefully we get a chase. It's Friday. A chase would be nice. Friday chase. So, all right. Have a good night. Love you guys. Maybe I'll see you later. Peace. Bye. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, let me make sure. Mike the Menace, thank you for the super chat. I mean, the bits on Twitch. I know the stream couldn't hear. I'm sorry about that, guys. We had a glitch, I guess. Rebecca, thank you so much for the super chat. Says thank you for the coverage. Much love from the 305. Amazing. I'm 954. Thank you. All right, guys. Take care. Peace.